You will have to train until you die. That's the truth nobody really wants to hear. People want to believe there's an endpoint, that one day they'll reach a certain level of strength, of fitness, of discipline, and then they can stop. But that's not how it works. Training doesn't have an expiration date. It's not something you finish, it's something you maintain, something you nurture, something you carry with you for as long as you're alive. Because the second you stop moving, you start dying. And I don't mean that in some sort of dramatic motivational way. I mean it literally. The body decays when it's unused. The mind dulls, the spirit weakens. We were never meant to be still. Most people see fitness as a phase. They say, I just need to get in shape, like it's a box to check off. But being in shape isn't a goal. It's a lifestyle. It's the way you exist in this world. You train because life demands it. Because no matter how old you get or how much you've accomplished, the work doesn't stop. The purpose of training might change, but the need for it never disappears. You see, self-improvement isn't a season. It's not something you do for 6 months and then move on from. It's a lifelong process. And if you're doing it right, it never ends. Every man wants to be strong. Every woman wants to feel capable. We all want to move through life knowing we can handle what comes our way. But that requires constant work. The moment you stop challenging yourself, you start to slip. It's quiet at first, a skip session, a few bad meals, a few late nights. Then one day you wake up and realize the person in the mirror doesn't look like the one you remember. That's why self-improvement is a discipline, not a project. It's not something you finish, it's something you live. You don't just train your body, you train your standards, you train your mindset, you train your ability to keep promises to yourself. Every workout, every rep, every early morning, it's all practice for life. Because if you can master your body, you can master your mind. And if you can master your mind, you can master almost anything else. People talk about motivation like it's a fuel tank that needs to be filled. But the truth is, motivation fades. You need discipline because discipline doesn't care how you feel. It's not emotional, it's not negotiable, it's simply what you do. That's what training teaches you. Consistency in the face of resistance. It's not about looking good for the summer. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't give up when things get uncomfortable. And that never ends, because the day you stop improving, you start declining. When you're young, training is often about appearance. You want to look good, build muscle, be attractive. You want people to notice your efforts. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of what keeps you going in the early phases. But as you get older, your reasons evolve. You start to realize that training is deeper than how you look. It becomes about function, about freedom, about being able to move without pain, to wake up with energy, to live on your own terms. The weight you lift in your 20s might become the walk you take in your 60s, but the principle still stays the same. You're still training your body to serve your life. Think about it. Every decade of your life will ask for a different version of you. Your 20s might demand strength, your 30s might demand endurance, your 40s might demand balance and recovery, and your 50s might demand mobility and health. But no matter what age you are, life will always demand effort. That's why the I'll get back in shape one day mindset is dangerous, because the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to reclaim what you've lost. Every year you neglect your body, it takes twice as much work to rebuild it. You can't outsource this part of life. No one can train for you, no one can eat clean for you, no one can build your habits or your resilience. That's on you. And what's funny is that people will spend decades building a career or a business or a reputation, but they'll neglect the one vehicle that carries them through all of it, their body. The body is your temple, your tool, your home. If you don't maintain it, everything else will eventually collapse. You'll start to notice the signs. Your back hurts, your energy drops, your sleep gets worse. You tell yourself it's just age, but it's not age, it's neglect. It's the result of years of ignoring what your body was asking for. Movement, effort, care. Training isn't punishment, it's maintenance. It's what allows you to live fully. You train to keep your freedom, to keep your confidence, to keep your vitality. And if you do it right, you'll start to notice that training begins to spill into every other part of your life. Your relationship improves because you feel better about yourself. Your work improves because your focus sharpens. Your mental health improves because you've built a system of discipline. Training is the foundation, not an accessory. It's the anchor that keeps your life steady. You don't train because you want to. You train because it's who you are. It's part of your identity. It's not a choice anymore. It's a duty. And that's where real freedom comes from. Once training becomes part of your nature, it stops feeling like a chore. It becomes like brushing your teeth, something you do just because you know the consequences of not doing it. The goal is to make fitness such a natural part of your life that you can't imagine living without it. That's when it stops being an obligation and starts being a lifestyle. And the beauty of it is, it's not just about lifting weights. Training can take any form: walking, swimming, hiking, stretching, martial arts, anything that challenges your body. It's about movement, because movement is life. Stillness and stagnation is death. When you move, you remind yourself that you're still alive. You're participating in your existence. You're proving to yourself over and over again that you're still capable. And that's what training is at its core. It's a declaration that you're still here, still fighting, still becoming. You know, a lot of people fear getting older. They think aging means weakness, fragility, limitation. But that's only true if you stop training. The human body is built to move at every stage of life. It adapts to whatever you demand from it. If you keep demanding strength, it stays strong. If you stop demanding anything from it, it gives you nothing. When people say, I can't train like I used to, I get it. Your recovery changes, your priorities shift, your time becomes more limited, but you can always train in some way. Maybe you can't deadlift what you did at 25, but you can still move your body with purpose. Maybe you can't run a marathon, but you can still walk every morning and keep your joints alive. Training is not about matching your past self. It's about respecting your current self. You see, the problem is most people try to fight time instead of adapting to it. They get stuck comparing who they are now to who they used to be. But that's not strength, that's ego. Real strength is the ability to evolve. The training you do at 40 isn't supposed to look like what you did at 20, and that's okay, because the purpose changes, but the mission stays the same. You're not training to impress anyone anymore. You're training to preserve your independence, your quality of life, your dignity. That's something we don't talk about enough: dignity. When you can't move your own body, when you rely on others to do simple things for you, that takes something from your spirit. Training is how you protect that. It's how you keep your freedom for as long as possible. So as you get older, don't chase the numbers. Chase the feeling of being capable. Chase the energy that training gives you. Chase longevity. You don't stop training because you got old. You got old because you stopped training. Regret is one of the heaviest things you'll ever carry. And the sad thing is, most people don't realize they're picking it up until it's too late. You hear it all the time from older men and women. I wish I had taken better care of myself. I wish I didn't stop working out. I wish I had stayed consistent. That word wish is one of the saddest in the English language, because it means the opportunity is gone. It means time already took its payment. And time doesn't negotiate. It doesn't give refunds. You either use it well or you lose it. When you neglect your body, you don't notice the cost right away. It's quiet, it's subtle. You get a little more tired, a little more stiff, a little more lazy. You tell yourself it's normal, that it's just life catching up. But what's really happening is decay. And that decay is avoidable. It's not age, it's inactivity. It's not apathy. It's the small daily decisions that add up over decades. Training isn't just about muscles. It's about insurance. You're building protection against the inevitable decline of time. You're buying yourself more time in the future with the effort you put in today. There's a saying, you don't quit training because you grow old. You grow old because you quit training, and it's true. The body responds to whatever environment you give it. You feed it junk, it falls apart. Move with intention and it will thrive. It's not rocket science, it's responsibility. Now, it is very easy to justify skipping days. You're tired, you're busy, life happens. But that's the test, not the excuse. Every man and woman who ever stayed strong into their 50s, 60s, 70s, they didn't have it easier. They just didn't stop showing up. That's the difference. Consistency beats talent. Discipline beats potential. And if you can grasp that early, you'll never have to say, I wish I had. There's something spiritual about training. Even if you're not religious, it's the practice of discipline, of control, of sacrifice. You now suffer to earn peace later. You restrict yourself to build freedom. Every rep, every drop of sweat, every breath you fight for. It's a reminder that you're in control, that you have power over at least one thing in your life, your effort. When you train, you're not just building, you're strengthening your mind. You're reminding yourself that pain can be your ally, that struggle can be sacred. The training ground is one of the last places in the world where truth still exists, because you can't fake strength. You can't talk your way into results. You either did the work or you didn't, and that's what makes it pure. It's honest, it's fair, and it's humbling. Training strips away the noise of the world. It teaches you patience, it teaches you humility. It teaches you how to keep going when no one's watching, and that lesson carries into everything else. And that's why people who train consistently seem calmer. It's not because they don't feel stress, it's because they've learned to face it. They've learned to suffer productively. And that's the beauty of this lifestyle. It's not just physical, it's psychological, emotional, even spiritual. It grounds you, it connects you to the present moment. When you train, your mind can't wander too far. You have to focus, you have to breathe, you have to be there. It's meditation in motion. And over time, you start realizing that your body isn't separate from your mind. It's an extension of it. How you treat one affects the other. If your body is neglected, your mind dulls. If your mind is unfocused, your body weakens. They are one system, one organism, and training is what keeps that system strong. We live in a time where comfort is killing us. Everything is easy now. You can order food without leaving the couch. You can work without standing up. You can scroll for hours and convince yourself you've lived a good day. But comfort, when abused, turns toxic. It softens you, slowly, quietly. You don't even notice it happening. You start choosing the elevator instead of the stairs. You skip the gym because it's raining. You stay up late and call it self-care. But all you're really doing is drifting further away from the version of you that's capable. And here's the problem. When life gets hard, and it will, comfort won't save you. It never does. Only strength will. That's why training matters, because it's a daily rejection of comfort. It's you saying, I'm not afraid of effort. It's you reminding yourself that you can still do hard things, and that mindset bleeds into everything. When life hits you, and it will, you'll have the calluses to handle it, because the gym isn't just about physical resilience, it's about mental and emotional resilience. It's training for life. Every squat teaches you how to stand up under pressure. Every rep teaches you how to push when things get heavy. Every failure teaches you patience and persistence. So no, training never ends, because life never stops demanding effort. And the day you give up that effort, the day you surrender to comfort, that's the day you start dying before your body even realizes it. Motivation comes and goes, everyone knows that. But discipline is what keeps you alive. Motivation is emotional. It's that spark you feel when you see a quote or a transformation video, but it fades. It's unreliable. If you rely on motivation to train, you'll never make it far. Discipline, though, that's different. Discipline is quiet. It doesn't need music or hype or perfect conditions. It doesn't ask how you feel. It just asks, are you doing what needs to be done? You see, the people who train for life aren't the ones who are constantly excited to do it. They're the ones who simply don't negotiate with themselves. They train because it's non-negotiable. It's part of who they are. There will be days when you don't want to do it, when your body feels tired, when your mind feels heavy, when life's problems start piling up. But that's when discipline is tested. It's not about being perfect. It's not about hitting personal records every day. It's about showing up. Just showing up when you don't feel like it is a victory in itself. Because the truth is, consistency is the most powerful form of strength. It's what turns average effort into extraordinary results. That applies to everything, not just the gym. If you can be disciplined here, in the physical, you can be disciplined anywhere. In your finances, your relationships, your career. That's why training matters. It's a controlled environment to build the muscle of discipline. And if you stop training, that muscle weakens, not just physically, but mentally. You start to lose that edge, that self-respect, that internal voice that says, I keep my word. So no, you don't train because you're motivated. You train because you're disciplined, because you're committed to your own standard, because you decided that taking care of yourself isn't optional. That's what separates the lifters from the dabblers, the strong from the soft, the fulfilled from the regretful. Discipline is the line. So here's the truth. You will have to train until you die. There's no finish line. There's no I've made it moment. There's nowhere you can stop and say I've finished. You'll have to keep showing up, keep moving, keep fighting against the pull of time. And that's not a punishment, it's a privilege. Because the ability to train means you're still alive. It means you still have choice, will, strength, and power. Don't see it as a burden, see it as a gift. You get to train, you get to move, you get to take care of this vessel that carries you through life. Train while you're young so you can live freely when you're old. Train when you're old so you can live with peace when the end is near. Train because life demands it and because you deserve to meet the demand with strength. And if the day ever comes when you take your last breath, let it be said that you never quit, that you kept moving, that you trained until the end. Because that's not just a good way to live, it's the only way to live.